Hello and welcome to the Dominion Daily for January 23rd, 2026. We've got Adventures, Plunders, and Seaside today. So, Plunder and Seaside, making it look with pretty similar themes, making it feel like more of a two-expansion kingdom. So, highest tide pools. Oh no. I was going to say, I don't see any trashing, but actually there is trashing in the form of pious tide pools. That's... well... I mean, you definitely don't want to gain like 10 tide pools to start all your... to trash all of your starting cards, but... I guess I could see gaining some tide pools, at the very least to trash estates. So ultimately here, there is a lot of draw. Wharf, crew, hireling, and once you get to champion, all of that becomes non-terminal, and the dwarves can draw the crews, and the crews all get top-decked, so that you're extremely reliable. So that looks good. Wharf also gives plus buy. So gains-wise, obviously action-wise, it's basically just champion. Longship, maybe you get longship early, but maybe not. But yeah, Wharf gives you the gains. Also tools and pirate can gain stuff, but Wharf is going to be the thing that lets you, buy multiple victory cards. Pretty obviously going to open with a page. The thing about the tide pools, I guess, is that if the goal is to get to champion, you don't necessarily care too much about like discard attacking yourself, especially with borrow. Although that being said, is borrow not borrow? I didn't mean. What did I mean? I don't know what I meant. Why I said borrow. I think I was transitioning into another thought, but the tide pools will help cycle through the deck is where I was trying to go with that thought, and help you get the page up the line faster between the trashing and the on play effect, even despite the self discard attack. But no, the borrow thing was actually, another option for the opening would be to open page Wharf. Obviously, there's like a little bit of risk there, drawing the page dead. But Wharf certainly is not only a good card in general, but is also going to help cycle and all that. Well, we're definitely going to take a page. So if we take the tide pools, we have an 11 card deck. Tide pools draws 3 cards, which means if we see it turn 3, we are triggering a shuffle. So that's not ideal. If we then don't also see the page, it is ideal if we do. If we see the page turn 3 and the tide pools turn 4, that's also pretty good. Not quite as good as seeing them both turn 3, but it's pretty good. Actually, maybe it's about the same anyway, because the tide pools misses the shuffle either way. Now if we I mean, it's not going to be the same, but it's too many turns out for me to try to calculate. But if we go with the Wharf, we are only going to start with 4 cards next turn, which slows down our progress. And then the Wharf, if we end up playing the Wharf turn 3, that does also trigger a shuffle. Which isn't actually great if we haven't gotten the page into play. So I think I'm going to go with the tide pools. Okay, well, we see the page. That's good. Do we want to get one more tide pools? I think so. Oof. Okay. I mean, this isn't terrible, but... And I guess, you know, we weren't that likely to find the treasure hunter, but it would have been nice. All right, so we could take a wharf now. We could also consider a hireling. The advantage to hireling is that, you know, we don't have the risk of drawing our traveler dead. I mean, we're already going to get up. We're already going to be up to warrior next turn. I mean, mostly Wharf is the better card. It's just like in the very short term, the question of specifically not wanting to end up like skipping a turn of playing and getting to champion. Getting the plus buy into the deck is pretty valuable too. I think I do just go with the Wharf. Okay, well this works out nicely. Okay, good. And we only have to gain 1 silver. All right, now we know we're going to need to play the warrior next turn. So I'm thinking we could take a tools. We could take a cabin boy. Both of those gain cards that we want. The tools can gain more than the cabin boy isn't a stop card. I think like, tools can gain a copy of a card any. Yeah, I think getting the tools looks good, and then we might as well take another page. Unfortunate. Do we want one more tide pools to trash this estate? This is particularly unfortunate because I don't really want to take another terminal going into a turn where I'm going to need to play the warrior and I have a wharf in the deck. Relic isn't going to do much here because it won't attack for very long. I guess we could add like Longship, but I don't really love that. We could just take the cabin boy, I suppose. Yeah, maybe it's just cabin boy. And then one more page won't hurt either. what do you have in play? Tide pools. Damn it. That makes the tools a lot less good. Because we're going to have to discard the wharf. I think we just have to discard the tools as well, unfortunately. Oh, we trashed their warrior? Oh, that's not right. That's not right. Oh, that's messed up. It's messed up. Alright, maybe we just take another cabin boy, and the plan is just to trash these cabin boys into wharves. Once we've got, like, not next turn probably, but the turn after. Like, so this one probably is going to stay a cabin boy, but I don't think, well, the bot is going to be gaining relatively fewer cards now than it might in the future, so probably we do exchange this for Treasure Hunter now in the hopes that we can get it through before we have to take too many silvers. Okay. Need to get to our hero. Just take another cabin boy. I mean, the thing is, we're gonna have a hero, or sorry, a champion in the deck before we shuffle again. That's the argument for just going ahead and taking a wharf. But we do still have to find the champion. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take the cabin boy. I think I'll just take another tools. All right, now take another cabin boy. Maybe we add one more wharf here. I mean, we should be... We trashed their warrior. Do they have another warrior, or do I have... I don't think I have another warrior. So they must have another warrior. We're still way ahead on that front, but... I think I'll go ahead and take a wharf directly here. Uh-oh. 4 silvers. Oh, gross. Maybe I just discard the wharf. Guess I'll take another cabin boy. I don't really want Longship. Another page? I guess. Okay, here's the champion. Finally. I say finally, I mean, it didn't exactly take a long time, but... Alright. Gain some wharves. And I guess we'll take another page. I don't know. We got another warrior? That's not right. Do we play this tide pools? I guess so. We have dwarves. All right, take another wharf. Another cabin boy. Crew now. We're gonna want more payload potentially, but like we can potentially get a hero for that, like as opposed to like a pirate. So I think crew. All right, we're definitely doing that. Yeah, I think one hero is good. Bot is just gonna play without champion, I guess. Another crew. I might actually want to not play all these dwarves this turn. Leave some for next turn. We have another crew down there. You know, the bot doesn't actually have a champion. So I'll take a relic. I'm not sure how many dwarves I actually have versus how many the bot has. Probably should have kept better track of that. Just wondering about... I mean, possibly it doesn't really matter because we have enough... we're going to have... Well, we only have 2 crews right now. And only one of them is actively getting top decked. I think I'm going to play one more wharf. Okay. Good choice. All right, not this one. So we do, in fact, have 5... No, we had one... Okay, so we have 6 dwarves. And they're not balanced, but that's okay. Okay, so tools for crew. Tools for crew. We're gonna be able to turn some pages into treasure hunters if we want more treasure gains. We've also got the hero, so we can get some more money that way next turn. So I think we go ahead and double province. That becomes a warrior. Becomes a treasure hunter. That becomes a treasure hunter. I think we leave this warrior as it is. Probably. Well. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but. Borrow for province. Okay, so we need double province duchy. Actually, double province estate. I think we can manage that. I guess we discard the tools, since that's not really doing anything for us this turn. And Cabin Boy, trashing Cabin Boy isn't going to do any better than just giving us 2 coins, so I'll do that. Okay. think we'll be fine here. Well, I guess we did draw the tools back up anyway. Gain some more crews. Province, province, duchy, 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 duchy. And I suppose if we were going to continue playing the game, we would exchange one warrior for a hero, and then both treasure hunters for warriors. Something like that. Yeah. So sniping the bot's warrior was unfair. And then it happened again, and so the bot gave up on getting a champion, which it didn't really have a choice about, and so I had entirely too much draw, and the bot did not. So that was pretty unfair. I think the bot actually, it played to its outs pretty well, like going more aggressively for green, because there's no alt VP here. So, if you get enough provinces, that would be hard to overcome. Obviously, that still wasn't very likely to work out, and I could have, easily enough ceded another province to the bot without difficulty. Like if the bot had one more province and you took that province away from me, we'd be tied. But then obviously I would have had the money to buy more duchies. So it wasn't a very good chance, but I think it played it as best as it could given that situation. Whether it played the early game into that point as well, I don't know. The bot did end up going with the page plus borrow for Wharf. How did that work out? So turn 3, it saw nothing and bought a page. Turn 4, it did see the page and the Wharf, and it didn't. And because of the borrow, it hadn't triggered a shuffle yet. So that part's pretty nice. And then it gets type pool as trash as the state. So that actually might be the best possible outcome. So by seeing normally you want your durations, if you're opening with durations, you generally want to see them turn 3 because you get more value from them. They don't miss the shuffle. But here, the fact that the Wharf missed the shuffle meant that well, I guess, yeah, if the bot had seen the Wharf turn 3, as I talked about before, and not seen the page, then it would have triggered a shuffle without the treasure hunter. Here, it didn't do that. Of course, if you saw both of them turn 3, that would be better. But this is still better than seeing the Wharf turn 3 and not the page, even assuming you don't draw the page dead, the Wharf. So this works out reasonably well, and then it does accelerate the next shuffle having the duration Wharf. So the fact that it misses the shuffle isn't too bad. This would be, if you were going through the sequence, but this was treasure hunter, that would be, then I would say it's actually the best outcome, because then you're upgrading into warrior and you don't have to worry about the terminal collision of warrior and Wharf, because the Wharf is in duration. So that but even here, I think it's a pretty good outcome. Anyway, then they did have to gain 3 silvers though. That's pretty rough. You do not want these 3 silvers at this point in the game at all. And there's really nothing the bot could do about that. I wasn't even, when I bought tools page here, I wasn't even thinking about by buying this page, I'm making the bot's deck worse, but I was. So that's pretty rough. Borrowing for page abstractly here looks pretty bad to me. I've already played my treasure hunter, so you're not getting anything from that perspective, and shortening your next draw to add a page to the deck. I mean, granted, I did end up trashing the bot's warrior, So you could certainly argue, like, well, we need another page up the line in case that happens. But it slows down, like, actually playing the warrior, assuming you get the opportunity to do that. Like, who knows, but well, I guess we know that we trashed the warrior there, so they wouldn't have drawn it, but they could have. Not here, as they didn't shuffle, but here, you know, getting one card further into that shuffle could have made a difference. And then the long ship, yeah, I just don't. It's slow. I mean, it is. It is net draw, but it's slow. I mean, if you collide it with like your wharf or whatever, it does allow you to play the wharf non-terminally. That definitely does have some value. It just feels so slow to me. Like, I kind of like the cabin boy plan of like, okay, fine. In the meantime, we'll take cabin boys and then just pop once we get champion or close to champion. But yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to say that, you know, the bot's opening might have been fine, and mostly the problem was a combination of they had to take 3 silvers off a treasure hunter, and then they got their warriors trashed. And then the warriors trash is the bigger deal, but I could see it being the case that even if that hadn't happened, that the bot just would have lost off the back of like being slower to cycle the deck due to the extra silvers. And that is how it goes with the page line sometimes, unfortunately. I think, yeah, like the combination of like the treasure hunter interaction and the warrior interaction can make the page line pretty unpleasant sometimes, and it wasn't that way for me this game, but it was for the bot. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.